Hi, this is Dana, and in this video, I will be talking about how you fight the matrix. This will be just a brief overview of how a few ways to fight it, because everything is so complex. In After you make the decision that you want to fight it, one big challenge, of course, uh, even for warriors, is that we all, those of light, perceive fight as a fair encounter, especially when you fight for God. You see your fight with dignity in certain rules of fairness and ruled by honorable means and by rules of astrals and rules of fairness what they created, unfortunately, and the field where we actually have to carry the fight with them, is a petty system of deception, of lies, of slander, where they create certain situations on purpose or certain relations on purpose to provoke you to an answer which, regardless how justified it is, um, they use it to legitimate in reality um, something uh, which they transform in lies to transform that situation into a reason to punish you, uh, which is in fact a pretext. They are all setups in reality in order for them to find reasons to steal from you, basically. So it's totally different than what we expect in terms of fighting. Okay, so they will find ways to create fake declarations about you, that you are not a good wife or husband, that you are not a good neighbor, that you are not a good employee, that you did something. It really doesn't matter the reality, and usually it's very easy to prove it's not true. This is why it's always hidden bondage. They don't actually come out and say it to you. They say it behind your back. They convince others to say it and to believe it, unfortunately, in order to carry on their plan. So it's never out in the open. They will always mask it in a totally different outlook. I'll give you a few examples just so you have an idea. I will not go in details, but just I'll give you some examples so you'll have some ideas. For example, um, I divorced in 2004. The divorce was final and legal in 2005. However, in 2018, so that's 13 years later, I found out that my ex-husband sold rights at me throughout all this time, sold rights at my house, which was my own house, after which I bought after the divorce, and so on. So essentially, they pretended they didn't know we are divorced, and they continued to do business with my ex-husband, buying and selling rights at me, which of course it was very easy to check, and of course it was illegitimate. He had no rights over me. Normally, in a normal system, even if we were married, he had no rights to sell contracts on me. But even more so since we were divorced for such a long time, and he already had a different family, he married someone else. But this is the way they do it. They say, oh, we didn't know you are divorced. We made a deal with him, which is a lie, of course. I'll give you another example. In 2016, they created at my workplace a disciplinary committee to judge me and punish me for not coming to the office. Essentially, what happened, I took a vacation with accord and actually being advised by my superiors because I broke my leg. And essentially, what they said, you don't have something urgent to do at the office, so why don't you take vacation, because it's hard for you to wander around the office with your broken leg. So they suggested that. I took vacation. I asked them during that vacation if they want me to come back at the office. They said no. Finally, after a few months, the disciplinary committee requested me to go, and they said, you didn't come to the office, and you do not have justified um, documents, so you can not come to the office. So then you essentially just didn't come to the office, so we punish you for this. I said, excuse me, my superiors told me to take vacation, so this is not on my own doing. They told me check with them, please. They checked with my superiors. My superiors confirmed. They told me not to come to the office. However, they still punished me, arguing that there is or not, we don't find a document to attest it. Okay, you don't find a document to attest it, but my superiors are here and they are attesting this. I am here, I'm attesting this. So what is the discussion? At the end of the day, they still created this punishment on me, which nobody could explain. My colleagues who were in that committee came to me before this judgment and they explained to me, Dana, we actually told them that we don't find this legal to be done. However, they said, the intel officer said that we have to punish you. So at the end of the day, during the committee, my own colleagues who explained this to me, they pretended they didn't know what is going on, and they acted like it was legal what they were doing. I'll give you another example. In 2018, as I explained in another video, I submitted my resignation because attacks were done at me in my own house. They justified during the fight, because I defended myself, of course. They justified that they have rights over me because of my workplace. So it was an institutionalized right at me. I got angry, so I said, no, you have no rights over me. And if you use my workplace to claim rights over me through that, then I submit my resignation and still you don't have rights at me. That's enough of this shit in my life. And I did so. I submitted my resignation. Then they went to my priest. They talked to my priest, who all of a sudden became their advocate, trying to convince me to take back my resignation because that wasn't pleasing them, and to accept their offer at me to get a pension in exchange for accepting to say that I have a diagnosis of schizophrenia. So the priest advised me to do this. And I said to the priest, I said, this is not true. And it's not true. They attacked me and I resigned because of this. And there is no schizophrenia. This is the truth. And the priest essentially argued with me. He said, yes, this is the truth. I explained to you how this works. I know it does, but then you won't have money. So you have to accept their conditions in order so you can receive a pension, so you can have money, unless you want to go back to work. And they said, no, I will not go back to work since they use my work against me to take claims on me. And I will not accept this offer because they are the agents of Satan. They are working dark magic against me. And I will not be negotiating with them and I will not give them the satisfaction of calling this schizophrenia, so they will have some legitimate way to cover up what they did. I will leave my resignation where it is, and everybody should know, and God knows, that this was because they work with Satan. This is why it happened. Well, never mind, I didn't go back. I, of course, got upset with my priest as well. And I told him, I said, you side with Satan, and I think God will punish you as well, just so you know, because I will be claiming judgment on you as well, because it's not acceptable to me that you're advising me to accept this. And years have passed since then. By now, there are 4 or 5 years, 4 years, something like this. And God is showing me that what they did, essentially, they covered up and they said, she didn't resign. We didn't know she left. I think this is a disciplinary matter because she didn't come to the office. But I have the resignation, of course, and I have it registered as I submitted it. I requested a number of registrations so I can prove that I have the copy with a number of registration on it and so on. And they did so because they stole my rights after that. God showed me. They said she left. We don't know why she left. So then her salary should go to someone else and her rights for promotion and so on and so on. So these are just a few examples. This summer, a few months ago, they poisoned 2 dogs and they threw them in my garden dead. I found them dead in the morning when I got out in my garden. I found 2 dead bodies. And while I discovered them, a neighbor of mine who coordinated this attack started yelling at me that my dogs killed those dogs, and that my dogs are criminals, and I tortured those dogs, and it is my fault, and so on. And as a consequence, they wanted to take my dogs away. So I called the police to come. the police sided with them, and the police refused to enter my courtyard, refused to see the dead bodies, refused to see my dogs. They didn't care. But at the end of the day, of course, I went further and I submitted a complaint to police at the regional level. And I explained the situation because it's illegal, even what the police did. He was requested to come in to take the bodies and to make research and so on and so forth. Not to mention that the law gives private property certain rights. So even if it would have been true that my dogs would have killed those dogs, why you threw the dogs in my courtyard? My dogs are just defending my courtyard, you know. But aside from that, they were poisoned, and I proved that. I took the bodies myself, in spite of the police refusing to take them. I took them to an institution and I requested necropsy on them, and I have documents now proving that those dogs were poisoned and thrown to into my courtyard, just to make a setup that those dogs were killed by my dogs. So I'm just giving you a few examples. You see, this is crazy, stupid shit. Honestly speaking, for mature individuals, this is crazy, stupid shit. However, they create this crazy stuff in order to steal your rights. It is far too hard to fight this craziness, of course. But of course, God helps. This is why, because they use these kind of crazy situations, which are somehow very hard to even deal with them logically. This is why you have to make claims at God for justice, judgment, and punishment, because God will reveal to you what happened. It is very difficult with a human normal logic to understand what is the reason behind some of their acts, because essentially those are just setups, just pretexts for them to create something on you, that which is normally hidden bondage. You don't really see it, you don't really know exactly what they want to do. This is why it's important you don't give undeserved forgiveness, because you never see the true reality of what they did. You only see what they want you to see. You don't know the exact their intentions until God shows them to you. And always God will tell you, and He told me many times as I was very frustrated with many of these situations. God always says, you know, it takes the foolish things of the world to confine the wisest. So you have to essentially put up with this and expose them, show, find out what's the hidden bondage and show exactly what they did and why they did it in order to nullify that. You have to understand this is a totally different way of fighting. So this is a huge challenge, and especially even for warriors who actually think of themselves as being um, prepared for a fight. They created this craziness simply because they cannot match our power, so they cannot actually engage with us in a fight. So they created these crazy scenarios using totally different, using sorcery, dark magic, and all this crazy thing. Everything they stole from you and you don't get back, you have to know gives them power over you and over others. So or it doesn't matter how crazy this is, you have to engage in fighting and breaking this out, because otherwise it's just a bondage which is gonna be repeated in your life, and they will keep having power. When you claim justice from God, God will show all of these, all the hidden bondage, all the intentions they had, all the lies they said behind your back, and how that links into a decision which is not even brought to your attention most of the times. You don't even know some kind of punishment which you're not even aware of. This is the only way to find out, so you can actually start fighting it and take your rights back. You will have to expose these lies. You have to expose them. You will have to force them to reveal themselves, and you will have to take back all that was stolen from you. This has to be done. This is the only way to actually win this fight. We came here to win it because the bondages they created and these repetitive scenarios which they created are essentially just a cover up for huge demonic and satanic attacks. I will come back with another video in which I will give a more concrete example from current reality uh, this already is too long of a video, and it's a bit hard to download it. So I will come back with another video to give an example that will hopefully give you some suggestions on how to do your own fighting. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so we make sure that more people receive this information. Thank you.